Diversified. Classroom Management 101. Inclusive and diversified. Classroom Management 101. Inclusive and diversified. Classroom Management 101. Inclusive and diversified. Classroom Management 101.
Hello, everybody. This is Sheniynah Richardson of SheRich Educational Consulting here with blog number 11, Using Lesson Plans to Build Character. Now, as I have said in so many other blogs, no student chooses to be a failure. They merely lack the tools to become a success. A large part of setting students up for college and career readiness is teaching character. It deals with the integration of soft skills, the soft skills of what it means to be a good person and an asset to society. Sound character is a vital part of surviving in this world. However, it is the most underemphasized topic in the classroom. Unfortunately, it has been widely accepted that reward and consequence is supposed to teach students how to become a stronger and better person, which we all know that this has its place, but it does not give the full, well-rounded view of what it means to be of good character. But I contend that the art of character building is worthy of a lesson plan in itself. So, this is what this blog is about today. I'm going to give you a lesson plan that I have used over a dozen times to teach my students character. So, here we go. This is my hook for the lesson. Analyze this quote. While they were saying amongst themselves, "It cannot be done," it was done. Helen Keller. So, in my student translation of the directions, I'll say, put this into your own words. What does it mean to you? When I say go, turn and talk with your neighbor about your analysis concerning this quote. And the students would turn and talk. And the next phase would be the bell ringer, bell work, do now, whatever you want to call it. I would play a selected clip from the Helen Keller story, The Miracle Worker. So this would be playing for about 15 minutes. And it's the scene in the dining room where Helen is going around the table. She's eating out of everyone's plate with her hand. However, her teacher, Annie Sullivan, says, "No, stop. You're not going to do that." And she's trying to instill discipline in her. And then as the scene goes on, Annie kicks everyone out of the dining room. And basically, her and Helen, they engage in a vicious fight. And by the end of that scene, the parents come back in and they notice that Helen is sitting and she's eating, and that would be the end of the clip that you want to show. So then I move on to the introduction. Now the introduction is basically reflecting on the quote. We're going to pull that back in. While they were saying among themselves, "It could not be done," it was done. So then I would play the video clip a second time, and this time students were tasked with annotating information that supports the quote from the video. So they're using the video as a resource, and they're citing evidence and connecting it to their analysis of the quote. So basically, in student terms, I would say, what was said about Helen? What did she accomplish? What was accomplished in this scene, and how was it achieved? And the students would jot down the information, and I would extend 10 minutes after the second running of the clip for them to organize their ideas. So then there was the transition for the assignment of the reading of The Miracle Worker, the stage play. The biography. We're going to look at the biography. So the students will get a real well-rounded perspective of who Helen was, what her struggles were, what her achievements were. So in this task for reading of the biography, students were to, in a table format, connect the reading to the quote as well as the video in a chart form. So they're connecting the dots, like how from the biography, what were Helen's challenges, as well as what were her challenges in the video, and why do you think that she said that they said it couldn't be done? And they're connecting this time 3 different media outlets. They're connecting the biography, they're connecting the video clip, and the quote. So as time permits in the classroom, you want to go back and ask students for their reflections and see what they put on their paper as far as the connections. Now, some students may not finish, and it's okay. You're going to collect the work for review anyway, because it's not necessarily for a grade. You're going to use the data to guide tomorrow's instructions. You're going to look at all the work and see where the students were struggling, if there were any misconceptions about what was happening in the text, and you want to highlight any exemplary responses to, show students, okay, this is the right direction and this is where I want to steer you in. So this is what was done correctly and this is what needs improvement. So after you finish milking the data, you're going to redistribute the student work the next day, because this is serving as scaffolding for the ultimate assessment, which will be a essay writing prompt. So it is also a good idea that if you teach the same class multiple times throughout the day, that you compare the data from one class period to another. And even though the responses are not numerically evaluated, students will appreciate the idea that you took the time to review their thoughts. It's important that all student work is not just judged quantitatively. You want to do qualitative assessments as well, especially when you're asking for a student's opinion or a student's idea, because it is difficult to equitably evaluate a student's thinking process. I can't say that a student is wrong because of how they're processing the information. Now, it's my job to guide them. However, I'm not teaching them what to think. I'm teaching them how to form an opinion and make a prediction and a connection based on the research. Got me? Good. Alright, so in so many words, if you always rely on quantitative assessment, which means giving a numeric grade, then it basically teaches the student that the more you agree with me, the teacher, the higher your grade is going to be. And that is not helpful, because in the Common Core standards, it emphasizes critical thinking, and we want our students to think critically, to synthesize and form opinions. So, quick note on that as well. Even though you're not assigning a numeric value to the work, you want to annotate it, you want to leave feedback, you want to comment on the work to help the student improve and move forward and build on their ideas. You don't want to just return the paper and it hadn't been touched by you, or it looks like it hasn't. You want to give the students feedback. And once you finish the feedback, a check mark or smiley face or a sticker or whatever you use will suffice, as far as I looked at this and here are my thoughts and here's your work back. And that eliminates that struggle about, is this for a grade? Is this for a grade? It's not for a grade, but it does count. So, day 2, the hook. You're going to analyze, students will analyze a second quote by Helen Keller, which says, the only things worse than being blind is having sight with no vision. Now that's deep. I love that quote. So I asked the students, what does this mean to you in your own words? Why would Helen say this? So the same probing questions from yesterday, just in a different context with another quote. So after the students analyze the quote, they're going to connect it from the evidence from yesterday's movie clip and the biography, to support their claim. And at this point, you have already returned the students' work from the previous day. And after students complete this task, you're going to present your collective feedback. Which responses did most students have in common from yesterday's do now in classwork? What were some of the most intriguing comments? And what did students struggle with the most? So this is a process, every day that you are doing instruction, direct instruction, you do want to keep up with how the knowledge is flowing and whether or not you need to reteach or revisit any of the information that you have presented. So now you're moving forward to the bell work. In the bell work, you're going to, with a team of no more than 3 classmates, have each student collectively complete a graphic organizer connecting today's quote with the quote number 1, the video clip, and the biography. This is 15-minute task. And I'm going to have to do a part 2 to continue the lesson and show you ways to navigate through this thing and not only promote literacy, but teach character. Come back now. See you in a bit.